official Dragon Ball accounts have posted that they posted one more trailer with no new footage except for the stuff from this episode, and it's called the Climax trailer, basically saying that Dragon Ball Daima is ending, so you might want to get on now, which is big news because next week is the big one. Episode 18 of Daima is what I've been talking about going back to September, that everyone's going to be talking about. If you are trying to avoid being spoiled next week before you watch it, I would highly recommend getting off of all social platforms until you see the episode, right? And I'm not, this is not about me and me like revealing anything. I'm not going to, but everyone is going to be talking about it. There's going to be Instagram pages, Facebook pages, guaranteed, like Blue Sky. All of them are going to be talking about it with images from the episode that people are going to be sharing all over the world. So just be mindful of that going into next week. But man, go out of your way to see this Goma clip, man. Or I say watch the whole episode because it was incredible. There was also an interesting conversation with Supreme Kai and his sister, Rinsu, where he's like assuming that she wants what Degetsu wants, which is to become the ruler of the demon realm. And she's like, no, I want a more fierce demon realm. I want a more powerful demon realm. And that I thought was interesting. I don't know if that's foreshadowing for a story later on, or if we're going to get more answers on that later. But it's not exactly the same thing. She's kind of saying, I don't need to rule this thing. I just want the demon realm to improve. But the thought of a peaceful demon realm, that's not up her alley. But hey, I don't think Goku really gives a damn what happens in the demon realm unless, you know, until his stuff is fixed, he becomes an adult again, they take Dende out of there, go back to the outer world. You know, I don't think that anybody really cares all that much about if there's peace in the demon realm or not, but she does not want it. I mean, I would assume that Neba and Nahade both want it because, you know, they're just benevolent guys. I don't think Goku cares that much, although now that he's friends with Pansy and Glorio, we'll see if that friendship would continue past Daima, because that's obviously, we don't know where this is, what the future holds for these characters right now. We just don't know. And she's the one that wants to turn it into a game. Like, she wants to turn it into, you know, okay, you can pick one guy, I pick one guy, and that's how we end up with Goku versus Majin Buu. It was her idea. You would think it'd be Goku's idea, but no, it was her idea. Kind of reminds me of how when they had the Cybermen, when Nappa and Vegeta showed up, Nappa and Vegeta were the ones that wanted to make it into a little game, you know, where it was one-on-one for a bit. So it's sometimes the bad guys, you know, play around when they're, especially when they're overconfident, right? And one thing I want to note is that Goku punches Majin Buu square in the face and does the whole cheek bending thing, and Majin Buu ate it, and that is somewhat of a big deal for these characters, because maybe not outside of it, but for these characters, because remember, Majin Buu beat Tamagami 1, and Goku had only fought Tamagami 3, but Goku knew Tamagami 1 was the strongest. You know, they get stronger the closer you get to the middle of the demon realm, like the red area. So, you know, Super Saiyan 2 Goku is what beat Tamagami 3, so I don't think Super Saiyan 1 Goku would beat Majin Buu. So like I said, for the level of these characters, Ku and Buu, nowhere near on the level of the original Majin Buu. We've already established that. But Buu is a lot tougher than I think people gave him credit for. So when Goma actually appears to interrupt, he does this thing where, really awesome, this sequence, he turns the little area they're in of the castle, like little area next to the palace, to this big fighting arena. He uses telekinetic powers. It's kind of like how the Grand Priest in Super, in those episodes when he was building the Tournament of Power arena, it's like very similar, kind of like how Cell built the Cell games, where it was all like telekinetic powers, except he like destroyed a bunch of rocks and molded them, you know, again, like Cell, and created this sort of cage type of area. You know, it looked really badass. Like, that's gonna look great for the video games when the comes. And also, I should note that Rinsu and Neba both are very upset that this guy's got the third eye, and because Neba straight up says that grants the user an incredible amount, a very high level of magic power, and that's why we see Goma dominate everybody in episode. And as expected, Vegeta's the first one to challenge Goma. That was very character of him. You know,
So
he
you
does
ready
that
to throw them
sometimes, especially
hands.
in the Dragon Ball movies, where he'll be the first one to just get right into it. And he's the first one to go after Goma. And it starts off, you know, pretty